Broadcasting live from beautiful Zagnif Studios in the heart of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It is time for this week's episode of Indie and Unsigned, where we bring you tales of the independent entertainer on their way to the big time. Remember who you're listening to today, because you may see them on the big screen or hear them on the radio tomorrow. Hosted by yours truly, the legend in his own mind, the man, the myth, the mad karaoke DJ, Mr. Fingers. And without further ado, let's get into this week's episode.
All right. How's everybody doing? Hope you are enjoying this beautiful Saturday. All right, theme music. That's enough. I'm going to have to fade that out or something. That's just... Okay, there we go. Oh, man, it's Saturday, February the 6th, 2021. How are you all doing? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Indie and Unsigned. I am your host with the most, Mr. Fingers, the mad karaoke DJ, coming to you live from beautiful Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. This week, it is my pleasure and my honor. I got another guest here that I'm well associated with. We go back almost a full decade to when I made my stand-up debut, a very short-lived career stand-up. Ladies and gentlemen, he hails from Woodbridge, Virginia, and is hosting an open mic comedy show. We'll get into all of that in a little bit, but I want y'all to give a warm Indian Unsigned welcome to my guest, Mr. Brandon Moore. Brandon, how you doing, bro? How you doing,
What's up? Hey, glad to be here. Thank you for having me, first off. Hey, man, it's been a while.
It has been a long minute, man. The last time I saw you,
oh, geez,
I was hosting trivia at Smoky Bones in Woodbridge, and you and Dev came through. It's like, yo, I got trivia going on, man. Come through and see me. He was like, where? I was like, Smoky Bones. How close is that? He's like, don't matter. We'll be there in a minute. And I think that was the last time I saw y'all before I left.
Yeah, that was a while back. Jeez,
that was like 4 years, 4 years before I moved out of the area, man.
Yeah, jeez. It's crazy how fast time has been going by, because it doesn't seem like it's been that long. It feels like it's probably at most been like 2 years, maybe 3 top. But just crazy how how fast everything's moving, and like I'm one of those people, I don't equate time to anything until like I'm actually like sitting down and like thinking about it, and like I'm stuck during like coronavirus season. I've just been, just now like things are like starting.
What season? What season
was that? Coronavirus season.
Guess what, bitch? Coronavirus. A bitch is scared. Shit is real.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to throw that out there.
I did that one just for you.
Thank you, appreciate that. We were talking about that before the show. I was like, that's one of my favorite sound bits. But yeah,
I love that Cardi B virus, like that thing. Oh my gosh, does my heart so much good.
Yeah, your heart.
That's my heart. I mean, not like the coronavirus, like itself, but just hearing that sound.
No, I'm just saying, Cardi B does your heart good, huh?
I mean, she does other things good, but my heart for this conversation, my heart a little bit of good.
Strictly for the cardio. I got you. I feel you.
Yeah.
Man, tell me what you been up to, man.
Well, one, trying to stay healthy. Trying to avoid the coronavirus, like it's child support. So, that's the that's
man,
the big
thing. Don't get me started, sir. Do not get
Look,
me started.
I don't have any kids, so I can say that. Look, I can say that.
I've got 4, and the two oldest have outgrown that portion of my needs.
You have to keep a few pennies, yeah.
But don't get me wrong, man. If they call me, they tell me they need something, I got them, because they didn't get here by themselves. Their mama didn't just decide I want to have some kids. They didn't get here by themselves. Matter of fact, speaking of kids, my oldest is 25 years old today.
Oh, really? Well, happy birthday to it. No, my birthday's next week. Next Friday.
Oh, word.
Yeah,
word.
12.
Matter of fact, speaking of, you weren't even old enough to drink when I met you, or had you just
So, fun fact.
Okay.
Fun fact, I was not. I want to say when we did the first show at the fire station, I want to say I was not yeah, I was like 20. Like I was on the cusp of turning 21, but I was still 20. And I remember me and Devin. Well, Devin got in trouble because
Shocker. Shocker. The whole karaoke posse, the one to get in trouble would be Devin.
yeah. So Devin Jenkins, one of the members of the karaoke comedy posse. Me and him started comedy at the same time, so we're both the same age. I technically am older by a few months, but there was someone at the bar that was trying to buy Devin a drink, and they were successful at buying a drink, and Devin thought it was just a regular Sprite. But then when he got the drink and sipped it, he found out it wasn't Sprite. It was a mixed drink. And then the bartender saw the garnish on top. It was like, hey, you're not 21, and kicked Devin out. And since Devin was my ride, I had to leave out with them. So that's why we left early that night.
Fortunately, that was after we had done the show.
Yeah, after you done the show, thank goodness, because like the person loved Devin's performance, so it was like, hey, let me buy you a drink, and Devin's like, I'm not 21, and the dude's like, the person's like, hey, I got you, and still bought the drink, and we got kicked out.
I have an idea who that person was because that gentleman is a good dude, and no, I'm serious. He's a good dude. If it's who I think it is, he's a good dude. He and his wife are both wonderful people. They were there with us that night. Matter of fact, if you ever, I don't know if I sent you the video or not, but if you listen, it's him and his wife are the two people that are dying the most at all the jokes. Like they enjoyed the whole show from start to finish.
I
So
vaguely remember.
little background on me and Brandon. I had been doing karaoke at that point for it had been a little bit. It had been about 8-9 years or so,
A little
and
bit.
and I used to run with I used to run back in the day. I used to run with your other uncle Dion,
Yeah.
and he brought another gentleman to come to the show, Romeo Divine,
Mm.
who we'll get into Dion and Romeo a little bit later. And I had my thing for cracking. You weren't old enough to get in the clubs, and you didn't know me like that. But my thing was people. If I would have a couple drinks in me, and me and Dion were a lot alike in that if you came up there wrong, you were gonna get roasted.
Oh yeah.
And that was my thing. And my friends would always tell me, look, we could tell when you've passed about your fourth or fifth drink, because then you'll do a whole 10-minute set on somebody. I had one of my favorite stories to tell is, and I just told it on the show a couple weeks ago because I had another comedian on from Michigan. The guy came in to the show one night, and stage was way high up, and he was a little fella, and he was heckling everybody. And at some point, I got tired of him heckling people, and I told him, I said, "Man, look, don't they have a sign at the door say you must be this tall at karaoke? Does Mr. Rourke know you snuck off the island? Does it sound familiar? Boss, the plane." And he wanted to fight. Like that whole roast session, I went in on dude for about a good 7-8 minutes. I was like that other cat. I'm about to end this man's whole career.
Oh, Korea.
Like, I
Yeah.
just went in on it. I turned around and said, "It's about to go down." Like, just went in on him, and that he wanted to fight, and I had to buy him and his boys drinks and the
Oh
whole nine.
Lord.
That was how I rolled. So Romeo was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, bro, you pretty funny. You ever thought about doing stand up?" I was like, not really, because it's one thing to be sitting around in a group roasting people. That's easy because that's spontaneous fun. You can comment on what's going on in front of you right then. It's an entirely different thing to sit down and go, I cut my finger opening a can of tuna, which is nothing because people do that all the time. But to get on stage and do a solid 4 or 5 minutes about cutting your finger with this can of tuna and all the thoughts that ran through your mind, and oh my
Yep.
God, I might get Ebola and stuff like that. So, but
Yeah.
he's like, come on, man. He told me about the public access show. So I come down and I get there, and that was when I met you and old Mike
Yeah.
B and what's the girl's name? I cannot think of her name. She's on Facebook all the time, and I cannot think of her name. But I met I met this whole cast of characters from and
Yeah.
you and Devin, and then we decided to do what I named the karaoke comedy posse, which was basically you, you were the opener. Devin was what they call the middle act. What's the name for that?
Feature. I think it was me. Was it me,
You,
Devin?
you were the opener. He was the feature.
Yeah.
And Dion was the headliner. And
Yeah.
then Romeo and I were co-hosts. Like hosting a show, I do that all day because I don't have
Yeah.
to really have jokes. I just got to come out and make some observations and pick at people in the crowd. And
Yep.
did our first one was for my 4,000th karaoke show at Firehouse, and then we did
Yeah.
another one. I think that same year for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. It was Thanksgiving at
Eddie's in Centerville, which is
yeah.
now
They changed that
called
place so many times. Yeah, Eddie's. Yep.
Yeah, so that's the history behind the karaoke comedy posse, and we've stayed in touch
Yeah.
off and on over the years. But now, like, I think the only person still really deep in comedy is you. I don't even know if that's, I don't
I've
even know
outlived a lot of people in comedy.
what's that. Yeah, I know, right? In this short 10 years, as I think Dion dabbles a little bit here and there, but Romeo's
Yeah.
out of the area. Devin joined the army. I haven't talked to Stefano in about a year, so you're it, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. It's crazy that you say that because I hit 10 years in October. If you want to count it 10 years, technically, because like last year with coronavirus is kind of iffy because a lot of venues got closed down.
Yeah.
But yeah, technically 10 years in October, last October, and it was weird because I was in New Orleans when I was celebrating my comedy anniversary, and I was out there for a friend's wedding, and New Orleans, I'm on Bourbon Street, I'm plastered, so like the next morning or that night,
Of course, because you went by Pat Bryan's and got about 6 hurricanes.
I mean, yeah, I mean, what else to do in New Orleans, right? Besides eat food, I mean, eat food, get your drinks in. Bourbon Street was lit. But I'm sitting in my hotel room that night thinking, man, like the last 10 years have just been, it's been a roller coaster. You got your goods and your bads and, in between. And I just think that, I'm completely grateful for comedy because it gave me an outlet to kind of express myself. And I don't think I would have found that outlet if I didn't do it. And, I look back to, all the people I met, throughout the 10 years. And I put this out all the time. A lot of people didn't think I would make it to 10. They were like, hey, yeah, I could probably do like a year and then be gone, forever. But nope, still here. And those people that were like, yeah, 1 year, that's it. They're pretty much MIA and not doing anything now. So I kind of laugh at them. But, I'm extremely blessed and thankful for the last 10 years, 10 and a half years now of comedy, because I've done a lot of things I never thought I would do, and met celebrities and opened for celebrities and all that fun stuff. And it's like, a little old me would do all those things, little old shy me. So it's crazy, but we're here.
You mentioned celebrities. Now Lord, I try and keep up with folks through the miracle of social media. The one person that I did see specifically that stood out that's ingrained in my head that I saw you, that I saw a picture of you with Donnell Rawlings, aka Ashley Larry, for those of y'all that don't know who that is. So like who are some of the give me drop some names for me. So who have you got to rub elbows?
I got a list on my phone. I'm joking. As you alluded to, Donnell Rawlings, he has showed up to one of the shows I used to co-produce in DC. Broken My Comedy is the name of the brand. We used to do shows in Adams Morgan, DC. Well, pretty much throughout the northern, DMV area. But we had just started doing shows, and our fourth show ever that we ran, we did an all-ladies show, all-woman showcase. And it was called Give It For The Ladies. And he had heard about it just, throughout the day. He had heard about it, I guess, or that evening, and decided to come by. So, we're running the show, and next thing Donnell Rawlings pops up, and we're like, holy shit, this is our, fourth show. And this is our first, ladies showcase, and he shows up to it, and he's like, just hanging out, chilling. And, the show was pretty much, wrapping up. It was like, hey, do you want to go on? And he was like, sure. And I remember because he did 45 minutes, or no, it was over 45 minutes It's probably between 55 minutes. He did, and like only 5 to maybe 7 minutes of it was like old material, and everything else was like brand spanking new stuff. He's just been writing out and just looking to work on. So
Yeah, that's one of the things that I heard is real big with comics when they're on the road. Like they do. By the time, put it to you like this: by the time you see the comedy special with the lights and the bells and the whistles and everything, they have worked on this material for years, and I didn't know that was how that worked.
yeah.
How and Mrs. Fingers is bringing me a little liquid refreshment here. Thank you,
Uh
dear.
oh. Uh
Uh,
oh.
one of the it was maybe 15 or so years ago when I found this out, because I remember when Cat Williams' first HBO special dropped. I was like, yo, this dude here is hilarious. And then you go back and you start, through the miracle of YouTube, you see where he was at the Comedy Store doing that
Yep.
same bit. He was at Caroline's. He was doing, he
Mm-hmm.
did some show somewhere, some college campus, where it was the same material. And some of it, he took some of it for the first special and some of it for the second special. Like the part where he talked about, the one thing you cannot do is get unhigh when your child walks in the kitchen.
Yep.
Just sitting there,
Yep.
just your child coming. I look in the kitchen, my child, like, huh? Daddy, the Cocoa Puffs is on top of the refrigerator. Now they ain't up there. Like them damn insurgents that got your Cocoa Puffs. Like he did
Yeah.
that years before he put in a special. So that's one of the beautiful things about working in the business and meeting these people is you get to see all their stuff before it blows up.
Or exactly, and that's the biggest thing. And I feel like now a lot of people forget about that because they're so busy um, trying to write and do little short clips and stuff like that. But they forget that most times when you get discovered, you're in the game for a while.
Mhm.
I've always been told, you don't get discovered until at least 10 years in,
Right.
before you get discovered because you've been at that point you've been doing it long enough and you know the do's and don'ts, and you're kind of more of a student of the game. It's not one of those fly by night, hey, I'm here to make a quick buck, but I'm gonna try to take the easy way to do it. So I mean, at one point while I was younger doing it, I used to kind of get upset with myself because I'm like, been doing it for 5 years, and I'm not where I want to be at, blah blah blah. And I had a lot of like national tour headliners,
Mm.
pull me over and was like, hey, don't get frustrated. It takes time to get discovered. So you're on the right path. Just make sure you keep your head clean, and you keep doing what you're doing, and your time will come. So I always kept that in mind. And just try to be humble with it. That's the biggest thing. Just try to be humble, and anytime I can help someone else out, especially running shows, I try to give everybody the same, try to give everybody the same advice, but try to give them advice that's actually going to help them. Because a lot of guys will just give you advice so that they get you out of the face, and maybe something that's not going to help you whatsoever, but. I try to drop the same gems that other people drop for me, and just try to give back whenever I can. So,
Oh, that's good right there, because I've heard the stories, the tales of how you know let's just say you were a hot comic in Northern Virginia, and it was any day before you got a shot. Like you show up and people just would just hate on you or grit on you, or there was somebody been in the business grinding for 10, 12, 15 years that hadn't gotten the shot yet, and you got
mm-hmm.
people, you getting phone calls and stuff like that, and they trying to they go on and you supposed to get 5 minutes and they take the whole set. I've heard all of those stories.
Oh yeah,
I've never been party to any of that, fortunately, but I've heard all these stories. And then on the other end, it's just about the grinding, just to watch. Um, One of my favorite specials. I've got everybody's got a list, their top 5,
yeah,
top 10 comedy specials, and in my top 10 is the original Kings of Comedy, hands down.
yeah.
One of the funniest. I mean, the first time I saw it, my ribs hurt, my ribs and my face hurt for days. You know, like I mean, everybody. Steve Harvey with the bit about the Titanic, Bernie Mac with milk and
Yep.
cookies. Take your sweet ass upstairs and get some rest. You know,
Yep.
you know, and then instead of the entertainer talking about he ain't finna call no another dude delicious, that kind of thing was hilarious. But then
Yep.
if you watch the I think if you got the DVD, you got to see on the end where they talked about, how Bernie talked about he borrowed his neighbor's car and drive across, cross state and go do a show, come back, leave the keys in the mailbox. And wife go, "Did you get paid?" "No, I didn't get paid." Or Steve talking about doing a show on a card table in a
Mhm.
redneck bar in Podunk, Mississippi for $25. And the guy told him, "Smokey told me if you step off that stage, you don't get your $25." So so mad props and love to you for keeping that going. For those of you that are just joining us right now, hey, hello, and how are you doing? Welcome to episode 3 of season 3 of Indian Unsigned. I'm your host, Mr. Fingers, the Mad Karaoke DJ. Go Dogs! I had to throw that out there, even though it's not college football season right now. And we're here with our guest, Brandon Moore from Woodbridge, Virginia. You've relocated from there since then. That's just don't go to Woodbridge. Look, you might see him in Woodbridge. I don't think he's there no
Yeah.
more. Trying
I'm
try
still
to
here.
keep it
I'm
local.
still here. I gotta hold it down.
Okay, all right, all right. Um, but you man, look, I remember the days when we did this because I did 2 of those public access shows with you guys, and then we did we
Yeah.
went on Romeo's radio show with Dion, and we couldn't answer none of Romeo's questions because Dion was flat cutting up.
Oh
Dion
God.
the man, yeah. For those of you unfamiliar, Dion the man Alexander, a man that I call quite possibly the hands down funniest man in the DMV because you just start a conversation with Dion in 10, 20 minutes in, he's got you crying like.
Yep.
Dion told me the second best dark skinned black man joke that I've ever heard in my life. I'll share the first one with you in a minute, but the second best was the thing about the peekaboo. You remember the joke about the peekaboo chocolate? He said to call you peekaboo because you're so dark and
Yeah.
he's been
Remember
really
that?
dark and you
Yes.
open your eyes, peekaboo, like that. I mean, and he could tell it to me now, and I would still crack up about it. And we did those 2, and then there was the deal at we did the 2 public access shows, we did the 2
Yep.
KCP shows, and then there was the other show at what was the little place around the corner from the public access station, Velocity 5 in
Oh,
Marion Field.
yeah. Yeah.
And we were doing the V5 shows. So to see after all this time that you're still getting after, because I looked up at one point and you were doing, was it Funny Bone or Laugh House or whatever it was down
So I
in.
did Funny Bone. I did a couple roast battles at the Funny Bone. I did like the open mics, but they have like a tournament style. I haven't done that yet because coronavirus. But I was a
Don't do
regular,
that.
pretty much.
My finger twitch. Don't do that. I almost hit the button again.
I mean, my biggest thing was I was hosted for the Comedy Zone, which puts shows throughout the whole East Coast. They got comedy clubs up and down the East Coast, and
Oh,
kind of like mid.
so you were traveling and hosting, huh?
Not as much as I wanted to because I gotta stay with work and $25 wasn't gonna do much for me. Traveling out,
I hear you,
but
brother. I hear you. 'Cause all I got
but
was a handshake. Thank you for coming.
yeah, I wanted to. Don't get me wrong, I wanted to, but I could go here and there, but I couldn't do like a whole weekend and get paid only like 175 and then be like, hey, yeah, so you gotta figure out your own way to get here and food and stuff like that. We're just gonna pay you for the show and your hotel. And I was like, wait, I don't get paid
Right.
for like gas out there? Nope. All right. But when we had our comedy club in Fredericksburg, I was one of the regular MCs there. And then just doing stuff in DC, hosted shows in DC and Virginia all over the place. For the last so many years. So I pretty much have done everything in comedy that you can almost think of between running a club at one point a couple of years ago. I was a comedy manager, as you can quote unquote say.
So
Pretty much
you were the
food
Mitzi
run.
Shore. You were the Mitzi Shore of the club, huh?
Pretty much. Being a food
That's
runner.
dope.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope, man. For those not in the know, Mitzi Shore was the comedy store in LA.
Yeah. Yeah.
She ran the comedy store in LA. And if you can think of anybody you loved as a comic in the 80s and the 90s, she was in part responsible. I mean, we're talking Robin Williams. We're talking
Yep.
getting. I mean, Richard Pryor was already well known, but Richard came through there. Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
I mean, you name them, they all went through the Comedy Store. She's acted. That's actually Pauly Shore's mom. That part I did
Yeah.
not know.
I said probably Short's mom.
She's
Yeah.
responsible for the birth of a lot of comics in the 80s and 90s that
Oh yeah.
are now the senior statesmen and stateswomen of comedy because
hmm
if she liked you, she gave you your 5, 10. If she liked you, she gave you 5 or 10. And if she really liked you, you got in the regular
Yeah.
rotation.
I got regular gig.
You
Yeah.
show up and somebody got bumped off the roster. So now let me find out. DMV's answer to Mitzi's show
I
up.
mean that
My
was years
dude.
ago. I mean that was years ago. But I mean I've done that. I've served. Been a waiter for a night. When someone called out, you got to put those boots on and run out there. Food running, host, MC, sat people, headliner, feature, all of it, guest comic, pretty much everything. Outside market for a show, I've done it all. So
Wow.
I don't consider myself being above
You're
anything.
not no me at all. You ever blow up, you be the next Kev Hart.
Yeah, I mean
You-
the thing is that I feel like as a comic you have to do all those things. You have to be able to do all those things, especially if you want to make it big. And my thing, one of the firm things I believe in as a manager, is I'm not going to ask you to do something that I wouldn't do. So if I can go out there and do it myself, then hey, you can do it also. And that's
Yeah.
just one of the things. I always wanted to know every part of comedy, especially with running a club. Like once I retire and have all that money to spend on something, my dream goal is to run a comedy club. So with all the years of experience that I have, learning the behind the scenes stuff, I'm pretty confident that I could do it. But I'm just glad I learned those things very early because you grow to appreciate everything a lot more knowing what goes into it. It's very easy
Right.
for you to show up and perform and then you get your pay or whatever, or get your wings and leave out. But for you to know the hard work,
Wings.
hey, look, I've heard some stories. I haven't been through this personally. There's been some venues that say, "Hey, I can't pay you in cash. I can pay you in wings, or white or green."
Look, I don't. Ain't none of that gonna pay my rent, and none of that's gonna put no gas in my car to get back up and down the road. But understanding how the business works, I can see how you feel like that might be the gig that gets you over the top,
Yeah.
or that might be the night that so and so is in the audience and they pull your coattail and whatever. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've heard the stories, man. I didn't run in the community very long, but in that short time, I heard all these stories about just things that people have done. I mean, even your Uncle Dion, who we got to get back to him in a little bit. We said we were going to talk
Yeah.
about it. I mean, the stuff that he said, the out of pocket flying from coast to coast out to LA and talking about shows and things of that nature. It's crazy. I just can't imagine. I'm sorry, honestly. I couldn't imagine working a gig. My thing was DJing. People would be like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
man, we want you to come DJ this wedding," and they give me this long list of stuff they want, and I'm like, "So what's your budget like?" And they're like, so yeah, we gonna feed you and give you all the alcohol you want." Uh, but that's a
What?
different, that's a different animal than comedy
It
because
is.
in comedy gigs, there's tons of people trying to get into comedy. Now, the beautiful thing about comedy is that the birth, the growth of the internet
Mm-hmm.
has given people avenues to get inroads into comedy that previously you just had to hit the road and tour and work for. Um, then I've actually met a couple. So Ryan Davis comes to mind specifically.
Yeah.
I went to see Ryan at the DC Improv, and that cat sold out 6 shows. He was only supposed to do a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, 1 show each. They had to add a second show because all the tickets sold out like that. and that's a
Yeah.
cat that I had never heard of until Facebook.
And
Another one
I was gonna
is
say to feedback off of that real quick. I remember while I was working at the club in Fredericksburg, he had came down, and this is like right before he was on the cusp of like blowing up on internet, but it was like right before, and
Mhm.
then like 2 months later he blew up. I'm like, holy shit! I just saw him like 2 months ago.
So
That's not.
how did the audience react to his set when he was there?
They loved him. Like they loved him. I mean, he sold all of his merch that he had. They loved him. Like
I've heard that too. I've heard stories about folks that they go and they do a set and the set is solid and nobody's feeling the set, but then they blow up and then all of a sudden, oh man, I remember him back when when you weren't even feeling it back then. I caught to
exactly.
went to see Drew Lynch here at OKC at the comedy club here in OKC,
Hmm.
and the guy that was his opener, dude is sleeping out of his car. I felt bad. Like he's like, I don't have a social media right now. I mean, I got one, but don't have internet. Like I was like, yo, I felt like seriously, I expected Sarah McLachlan to come out from the background and start singing "In the Arms of the Angel" while this while this dude was telling us his life story. I felt bad, but he was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you, man. God bless you. If anybody wants to get into comedy, God bless you. But I remember
Yeah.
Ryan. I don't remember Ryan until I saw him on Facebook and he started doing those videos, and especially,
Hmm.
oh man, especially with him going in on Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh yeah.
And I went
Well,
to see the cat I went to see him at the Improv. I'm in there washing my hands. Improv got a small ass bathroom, and
oh yeah.
I felt bumped into somebody. Like I was trying to get back to the seat because the show was getting ready to start. I was like, "My bad, bro." And he's like, "Nah, man, no problem." And I turned around and I saw him looking at me like, "This motherfucker gonna turn around in a minute, see who it is." And I was like, "Oh shit! Oh man, what's up, dog?" Like, "Oh wait, wash your hands first. Hey, what's up,
Yeah.
bro?" Going like elbow dap, bam. And he came out did a killer set, and then I went to see him. Wife and I with the other cat is Trix, the Canadian dude.
Oh yeah.
That and both of them down to earth. Honestly, as a whole, as a whole, I found, and I don't. You can attest to tell me, yeah, nay. I've found in the entertainment field, comedians tend to be the most down to earth. I mean, you got the some that get real big and they don't want to look at you or nothing,
Yeah.
but they are some of the most down to earth, most humble people. Because as an industry, as an aspect of the entertainment industry, the struggle to get to the point where people want to come and see you is so real.
It
It's
is.
it's, it's way real. Music music used to be that way, but music has kind of gotten to the point where I mean, come on, man, Bad Baby's got $1 million recording contract.
No, I
You
mean,
know what I
but
mean?
true though, because like with comedy, you whenever you start off, it's almost it's like being an underground, like
Hold on, you got some shouts out on the chat. Those of you that are watching the
oh,
chat, if you're there watching, make sure you say hey when you pop in, so we know you're there. I'm monitoring the chat. My wife is monitoring the chat. Orlando Jones said, "What's up?"
what's up, Orlando? Oh, okay. OJ. No, OJ's a good friend of
Hey,
me and
careful
Dion.
now.
Nah,
Careful,
he's
careful with OJ now. The fourth time I met OJ Simpson. Go ahead. I love that bit, man. That's one of my favorite
I
Chappelle
met
bits.
the real, I mean, well, not the real, but I met the famous one, Orlando Jones also. Thought
Oh,
was crazy.
word? Mr. Lee,
Yeah, he was down.
one band, one sound, Mr. Lee. Didn't he used to be a comedian?
Yeah, I got a picture of me and him. He was down in Fredericksburg also. And he had performed. He's actually cut friends. Him and one of my cousins in South Carolina, like they went to school together. So like he's technically like family. So I kind of was like, yeah, that's one of my cousins. Like I kind of used that little card. He's like, you're a comedian. Shut up. I'm like, all right. And I hang out with him for a little bit, VIP and stuff like that. It was fun. But no, the thing about what you were saying a second ago, though, as a comic, like the only way you're gonna get big like that is you're gonna have to you're gonna be a following. That's the only way anyone gets big these days. You have to have a following. You have to be. I tell a lot of kids. Well, I say that because I've been doing it for 10 years, not because I'm about to turn 30 next week. But I tell like the newer comics, I'm like,
Oh, shut your mouth. You act like you are so y'all kids kill me. Listen, y'all kill me with this. Oh my God, I feel so old.
No, I'm
Man,
not saying that. I just
when I
said
was turning 30, I was just getting started good. You understand what I'm saying? I'm I'll be 51 in June now. Now I'm at the point where I'm starting to get the little aches and pains and stuff like that. But I wasn't even studying old at 30. Please, I'd outrun
I'm just
circles. I'm running circles around the 20-year-olds. What you talking about?
I'm just saying the reason I say kids like that is because I've been doing it longer than them. So I'm like,
Okay.
yeah. So that's why I say kids. I'm like, these kids these days, they don't understand that. And I try to tell them, one of the things I try to tell them is like you have to make yourself marketable. Like the real places where you're gonna get those gigs that's gonna pay the money are corporate gigs. And for corporate gigs and churches, for that aspect, they want clean comedy. So you have to be able to be clean. It's cool to be dirty, but you have to be able to clean it up also if you're trying to
Oh,
actually make a living off of it.
yes,
Because
sir.
corporate
Kev on
gigs,
stage.
yeah. So I mean, corporate gigs, you can get paid, bukus. Oh my gosh, the money, back before coronavirus, corporate gigs. Oh my gosh, that was the way to go. You just do corporate and cruises. That's the other one, cruises. But you have to be clean because you're playing for families. Especially on the cruise
Right.
boat. You got little kids out there, stuff like that. Resorts like Myrtle Beach. Like you have to be clean because you're going to
So
be in
have you
front
done
of
all
kids.
of those? Have you dabbled in all of these?
No.
Oh, I
I've
was
done
gonna say
retirement
you
homes, if that counts for anything.
you know what? What?
I said I've done retirement homes, if that counts for anything.
Yeah, because you hear that. Matter of fact, one of the biggest in the last couple of years, you familiar? I'm sure you're familiar with dry bar comedy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's their big thing. Most of their comedians are folks from the corporate comedy circuit,
yeah,
and
and and that's where,
some of them are hilarious. Some of them you can tell they still working on the material, but some of them are just as funny as insert name
and-
here.
yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, and that's where the money's at because you want someone that that can play for anyone. That's the biggest thing. You need to be versatile. A lot of newer comics try to go for like the shocky, edgy. I want to go for shock factor, and they talk about things that you know that make people uncomfortable, and they leave. I mean, I was doing an open mic a few months ago, and I had a comedian, pretty much do some rape jokes, and it's like
Ooh.
yeah, like you can't do that because you don't know what someone else has went through, and that R word it brings out an emotion in someone. Normally brings out an emotion, and sometimes, most times, people kind of just they disconnect themselves from the show, so you lose everyone because you use that word. You can have a funny rest of your set, but people are going to remember you said that word and said something associated with it that they probably didn't like, possibly brought back a bad memory in their head, and then you lost them, and they will
Yeah.
never listen to you ever again.
No. Hey, I seen people walk out of comedy show, not necessarily over rape jokes, but who was here? Talent the comedian from
Okay.
way back in the days of Def Jam. Like you weren't even,
hmm
you might have been a toddler during
I
the
will.
day
I've
with
seen them.
Talent.
I've seen them. The last 5 years, but I know you're talking about.
Yeah, him and another dude named Kenny Howell. And they were doing a show here at the Civic Center
hmm
across the street from the Chesapeake Arena where the Thunder play. They were doing a show in the Civic Center next to it. And excuse me, oof, that soda's getting me. Excuse me, but I
Oh,
needed that. I needed that though because lunch was good. Anyway, I forgot what the joke was. He cracked. Um, but this dude that was on a one of those carts like the ones at Walmart.
yeah.
He all of a sudden we just saw he was out the door. He was out the door, and another dude was right behind him. And Talent actually was able to turn that because he's like, did dude just roll out on me on a Hoover round? And then he got stuck at the door because he couldn't get over the he couldn't get over. So that was
Oh,
a whole nother
yeah.
dude. Talent did another 10 minutes on that man. Had me dying. And the jacked up part was I didn't even remember who he was until about halfway through his bit, because his catchphrase was like, "Don't take this stuff personal,
Yep.
just comedy." And when he did that, I went, and my wife was like, "Are you okay? You having a stroke?" I was like, no, that's a deaf comedy deal comic. And she was like, "Okay," because my wife not.
Yep.
My wife, there's a lot of things that I've had to indoctrinate my wife on. I'm not saying that this. No, man, come on, man. I'm not trying to talk about my wife bad.
No,
It's
I'm
just
not. Well, no, I'm just
we had
laughing
we
at
had
how it is.
we
I
we
know the
had
area
different
how it
yeah,
is.
we had different upbringings, and
Yeah,
she was not as she wasn't really. I mean, she probably knew what it was, but she wasn't 100% familiar with the
exactly.
roster. You know what I'm saying? Because all of those because to think about this, bro, it's been almost 30 years since Def Jam premiered, and you think about the roster of people that we have seen that just were
Oh.
birthed from Def Jam: Bernie Mac, Martin
Mhm.
Lawrence, Joe Torre, Guy Torre, Eddie Griffin, some more, all of the original queens of comedy,
Yep.
just Chris Tucker. The list is endless. And then on that end, you go over the other side of the BET and go to Comic View, and that's where you got the
Yep.
D.L. Hughley's and all. I mean, I
It's a
went I
long list.
I went to see DL before DL was huge, like before he was the king.
Yep.
I've seen him live 2 or 3 times, and but that was all before. Well, the last time was after. That's a whole different story. I had to tell you about that one after we go off the air.
Oh
But
gosh.
but yeah. So you just the work, the amount of work. I The more I learn about comedy, and the more I learn about the inner workings and the politicking and the elbow rubbing
a
and getting
lot.
in place with the right people, it gives me a great deal of respect for the craft, and it makes me understand how sometimes the stress of that can be too much for some folk to handle. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So mad love, mad props and respect that you've been in the game 10 years. And look, you've been in the game 10 years and don't have no kids and no scandals and
None. Not. I
no
keep all
kids, no
that stuff under
scandal, no
wraps.
charges. We gonna knock wood on that one, but all of that. But I ain't dude, like who like okay, what is you've been in the game for a while, and
Okay.
what's your eventual end goal? Like where do you want to where do you see yourself, say, another 5 years from now?
So
And
five.
this is a hypothetical. So let's just say
Okay.
tomorrow we wake up, ain't no more coronavirus. Where do you see yourself in comedy 5, 10 years down the road? You got a shout out from Dennis Mitchell on the chat too. Says
Yo, what's up,
if we need
Huggy?
to get back to the Berg at some point soon. Those of you, I'm
Hey,
gonna let you answer
man.
the question in a second. Those of you just joining us, welcome to season 3, episode 3, Indian Unsigned. Brandon Moore well, not in studio. I'm in Oklahoma. He's in Virginia, but here with us today on the show. If you're watching, give us a shout out on the chat. If you're just catching the replay, just give me a hashtag replay with your comment. Um, I do go through and check those out, and if there's anybody got any questions or anything like that. So if anybody's got any questions for Brandon in the chat that hadn't asked anything, please feel free. Oh, the missus said hey to you as well, sir. I
Hey.
did. Sorry, honey. I know you was there. I gave you a shout on the radio before for bringing me a soda. She's like right in the other room, but I didn't. I got to. That's my boo boo. We gotta. I gotta sleep in the
Get
bed
that
next
shot.
to her. So,
I get that shot on the air.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be laying in the bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. She got her arms folded, not saying nothing. Like, what's
Yep.
wrong? Like, you said you shot everybody else out. You could give me a shout out. Now,
Yep.
let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and put the disclaimer on it. My wife is not that person, but you understand. I know some dudes. That go through that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
Like,
brought you
they sing.
I brought you a soda when you were doing your little funky podcast in the back room, and I brought you a soda, and I said hey on the chat, and you couldn't even recognize my name and nothing like that. Okay, that's what we do. Wait a minute, I don't know where this saying came from, but it's been around for a minute. But I don't know. That's what we doing now. Is that what we doing?
Yeah.
Like, come on, wait a minute,
Oh
hold on.
my God.
Where did that come from?
I'm like, I
Now
don't even know.
my wife is not that person.
No,
I just said that for comedy's sake, baby. I love you. I'll buy you chocolate.
You better buy chocolates Valentine's Day next weekend. You better. Shoot.
Oh, bro, look, chocolate on Valentine's Day ain't nothing in this house. We keep a steady supply of chocolate in the house.
Well, I mean, I know that, but you gotta buy the special kind, you know.
I wasn't necessarily talking for the missus neither, because for the long I look the people at Twix, the people at Twix, the people at the 7-Eleven around the corner from my house, like, if you could just, you could buy the whole case. We'll sell you a whole case, because I would go in there every night and get the 4-pack.
Yeah. Like,
4-pack and a pack of Coke. They'll be like, we'll sell you a whole case if you want one. No, I'm good, because I'll eat them all in one night if I have them. I know what I'm doing. Scientific method. It works. I don't want to know if you come by my house at 2:00 in the morning and answer the door like that. Mind your business, because I got all 4 of them in there. They're good.
That's too much.
Chipmunks going nuts for the
That's a little bit too much chocolate at once. I'm just saying.
Bro, have you seen me? This is 270 pounds of chocolate. And yes,
I mean, 210.
Yes, I said 270. Huh?
I'm right behind you. But you got 210.
Brother, congratulations and welcome.
I know, finally, right?
We used to tease you so bad, bro, if you don't eat. We used to have a running joke, like anywhere Brandon went, we would give Brandon a menu and go, Brandon, hold the menu up. Everywhere we went, we did that whole time. We did not find a single menu that Brandon was not skinnier than. Like, he was like, I'm eating
so much.
He's like, I'm eating. Leave me alone. And somebody tell me one more damn skinny joke. I'm skinny. I get it. Ha ha ha.
I used to hate that so much. Oh my god. I guess look, so to piggyback on this, so this is a brand new shirt. I just bought this.
Yes, baby. Disclaimer. I see you in the chat room picking at me.
So to piggyback on that, so I just bought this shirt the other day, and I tried it on before I bought it. And normally, like the last couple of years, probably about like 3 years ago, I was wearing a medium, and then got into a relationship. Or actually, no, 4 years ago, I was wearing medium. Got into a relationship, kind of gained a few pounds, relationship weight. Got out of the relationship, never stopped gaining the weight. So like now I'm at an extra large, and I'm like, put it on the shirt, like, it's a little big, but I feel like I could probably still wear the large. And I'm like, nah, that large is just like the armpits, like all the way up here. The arms. I'm like, I can't. I was like,
bro, you ain't said nothing but a word. I had a shirt that I used to wear back in the day. Said "Be well," like the joint from Demolition Man. I put that joke on right now.
Yeah.
It said "Believers welcome." There was more to it. I didn't know. It just like them sponges you put the water in. Get bigger.
Like, where did this weight come from? Like, I'm wearing sweatpants now a lot more. I'm used to wearing. I can't fit my jeans no more. I'm too broken platform jeans. Like, I wear sweatpants. I'm like, what is going on?
You put weight on when you go to put them pants on in the morning, and your pants lady look at you like, bro, what is you doing?
Yeah, like thigh meat. I got thigh meat now. I'm like, where did this come from? I got a beard cut. I'm like, yo, this was never here 10 years ago. Like, I'll go on Time Hop or Facebook and like see a picture of me from like back in the day. I'm like, oh my god, I look like 8'2" of that person now. I was looking at myself like, man, like why did girls say yes to me? Like I would have said yes. So damn skinny. I look unhealthy. Like, what?
We used to tease Brandon and say he looked like one of them 15 cents a week kids. The Sally Struthers used to make on TV for the price of a cup of coffee. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can feed one of these children.
And the thing was, like, I was so skinny, and I had.
The thing was, the messed up part was, we go anywhere and Brandon would out eat everybody. Didn't you come with us one time to Dixie Bones and we all stopped eating and watched you eat?
Yeah.
Dixie Bones is a little spot. Dixie Spot is this barbecue place down in Woodbridge, Virginia, which is like the southwestern Virginia region outside of DC. Yep. And there's this little spot. It seats about maybe 25 people, but they have like a barbecue buffet.
Yeah, it's a
barbecue buffet where they got like hot links and pulled pork and ribs and collards and I forgot what else. Because
all the soul foods.
All the soul foods. You can either go in there and order a plate, or you can go in there and say, "Let me just get and you get the all you can eat." And all of us was getting it in. This was back when we was all skinny. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, Dion seemed like the only one still skinny. We sitting there eating and eating and eating,
Eh,
and we didn't put our plates down. We sitting trying not to fall asleep, roasting on each other. We look,
Yep.
Brandon. We know Brandon ain't jumped in. That's because Brandon's still at what? Like, bro, ain't that like your eighth plate?
Yeah, I can eat. Like when I'm in the mode, oh god, I will throw down. But that stuff started catching up to me now. I'm like, oh man, I need to say no.
Who are you telling? I
But
have nights.
the thing was back then, like I had so much confidence. Like I was just, like I would talk to any girl and somehow it would work out. I'm like, I don't know how that. Like looking back at it, I don't know how I landed some of the girls I did because I definitely would have said no and blocked me and just kept going my day. But I guess it was the confidence. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not dogging you or nothing. I'm just saying, knowing. No. I just know that ladies. I know that ladies can be particular, and especially,
Yeah.
if, especially if you were that size now in 2021, you
Oh,
might be struggling because
I would be.
these women got lists, bro. They're like, I need a man that's between this height, and he got to be between this weight and this weight, and he
Yeah.
got to wear these clothes, drive this car, live in this neighborhood, work this job, can't have no kids, mind you. Now she got 3.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
you,
All the
you
time.
know what I'm saying?
All
Now
the
I'm not. Now, mind you, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the fact that she meets none of the qualifications on her damn self that she wants you to meet. It's just the
exact.
fact that she meets none of the qualifications that she's giving you, but she expects you.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
doesn't
bro.
work that way.
You'd be like, you know what? You would be cute. I mean, you got a deep voice and everything. You do it. I see you with your little comedy thing. That's become a thing too now.
Oh
To
yeah.
minimize
All
your little whatever, or your funky whatever, or don't let them put little and funky together. That just means
yeah.
forget whatever it is you're doing. I see you with your little funky stand up comedy gig and whatever. I see you whatever, but
I got that a
I'll
few
break
times.
you. Like I wasn't looking for you no how. Why you coming for me? I wasn't. Nobody called you. Check your caller ID. I guarantee you will not see Brandon Moore. We want more now on here. By the way, if you're watching this live right now, that is how you can get in contact with Brandon. He can be contacted
Yeah.
if you want to follow him on Twitter and IG. It is at We Want More with 2 O's, MOOR now. He's also, well, I won't give out your Facebook, but somebody would
Oh,
probably
we
go and look
do
for
Facebook. If we want more now, it's Facebook also.
Okay,
You can
so this,
go on
yeah.
Facebook. You can catch me on Cash App. Also, we want more now. Venmo, PayPal.
Hey, look, we in a pandemic. Brothers
I'm on
doing what they gotta do to survive. You got OnlyFans?
I do have OnlyFans. I got OnlyFans. Chachi Mandingo. It's
Stop
$10
it.
a month. Huh?
Stop
Chachi
it.
Mandingo.
No, I'm saying stop it. Like, stop it for real. You got OnlyFans. You not.
Yeah. Look,
I
everything was
never.
shut down. I gotta make money
I leave
somehow.
that. I leave that way you put that. But you know what?
It's ten
There's
dollars
a
a
guy
month.
that
Look,
there's a
it is.
dude. That does There's a dude that does NFL recaps. That does NFL recaps. I don't know if you're familiar or not. Chill Donis, absolutely hilarious.
I've heard of
But he's
that.
got when he runs through his lists, he's like, I'm surprised he's not on Friendster and, MySpace. And he was running through like he seriously he said it's some of these matter of fact, last week he listed he got an OnlyFans and a Pornhub. He said, I know you think that's me, but they keep kicking me off all of these other applications, so I gotta get it in where I get it in. Like doing like seriously, he's on Pornhub and OnlyFans doing NFL recaps.
Some people use OnlyFans for other needs. Like DJ Khaled and Fat Joe got one, and he do like motivational talks on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like when
Because that's where people go to find motivational. They want to pay for them when they can get them for free off of YouTube.
pretty much, but when they first announced it, I was like, wait, they're on OnlyFans. I mean,
You was like, nah, fam.
like I would never want to watch that, but they do motivational videos on there. So mine,
Wait though. That would be some funny videos though. You see the girl chilling on the couch and say, I wonder what I'm gonna do with myself tonight. It's Friday and I ain't got nobody to chill with. And then all of a sudden you hear, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you hear DJ Khaled. And he come
I
crushing
know.
through the door like the Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah.
Look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave the OnlyFans alone. Look, you gotta make your money somehow. If all the girls out here doing it during this pandemic, I'm pretty sure I can make a few dollars off of OnlyFans. So CHI Mandingo, $10 a month. I'm trying to get a PS5. So I need either a PS5 or a sugar mama. I'll take both. I'm
You
tired.
still trying to get a sugar? You've been trying to get a sugar mama for 10 years. You ain't got one yet.
I mean,
And you in the DMV, bro. They everywhere.
I'll get one for like a little bit, but then like things like they want more sugar. I'm like, I'm not trying to give you that much sugar, so they got upset and then whatever. But you find some, like I usually get hit up on Instagram all the time, like with sugar mama bots. Like they're like, I want to take care of you, blah blah blah. But there's something else Eastern dudes,
Somebody with a
credit
name
card
like
numbers.
Gladys.
So I kind of gave up on meeting them on social media. But if they follow my OnlyFans, then I know it's real because they paid money to see me and they want me, so I know it's real. You gotta be smart.
2021. I tell you what. I am so glad. Listen, it is 2021, and the things that I have seen make me very glad that I met my wife before all this craziness got started. And because I do not think that I would be able to navigate. I do not think that in 2021, and we talk about me. We talk about me, the me that I was when me and you met. I
Yeah,
could not navigate the scene right now. It is
it's
unreal.
hard enough as it is for me. Shoot, it's like
I
Tinder.
personally, listen, I guarantee you right now, if I had not met my wife and I was still single right now, and I was maybe hoping to get a date or whatever, and some young lady expressed the interest in going out, my first question would be, do you have any type of social media whatsoever? And if she said no, that's definitely, hey, all right, what time you want me to pick you up? Let me get your number.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, nowadays,
How many?
because
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Question number 2: how many female friends do you have, and how many of them are single? Because the one girl that wants love, you got that whole crew of single girlfriends, and they are, girl, you don't even want to mess with him. He don't weigh but 215. You said you wanted a man that's 216. How you know he only weigh 215? Girl, I know what a man look like in clothes. I know how much he weigh. Like a whole bunch of girls trip. Like a whole crew of them.
Shoot, that's a good question.
No offense intended though. Girls trip was hilarious.
It is. I'm trying to think. I have a lot of single female friends. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of like too broad. I got a lot of friends, associates.
Well, that's also part of that. That's part of what I call living in Northern Virginia, living in the DMV.
Yeah.
Man,
So,
there's you could throw a rock and hit a single woman in the DMV.
yeah,
And
pretty
not to
much.
say that there's anything wrong with the woman, that there's anything wrong with her that she had to be single. It's so many people in that area.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard for me to answer, but I would say um, a pond. I thought would a pond work? Lake. A lake
What?
full of. No, I'm trying to equate how many single friends I have, or single female friends I have.
So you said you got a pond full or a lake full?
A lake's bigger than a pond, right? Yeah, lake. Let's go with lake.
Yeah. You got a lake full. Okay. Well, I had a couple more questions I haven't even got to. I wanted to ask you.
Let's do it. Rapid fire. Let's do this. Pop, pop, pop,
Number
pop.
one, what is the craziest set that you've ever done? Uh, yeah, what's the craziest set you've ever done? Like craziest stuff you've seen at a set
That I've done or someone else has done?
that you've been a participant in.
I remember I did a open mic at Britney's years ago, and the dude that was on the stage pretty much stripped down to his boxers. Yeah, like he stripped down during the set to his boxers and was like telling jokes. It was very awkward and weird. Let's
But he was
see.
ahead of his time. Look at Bert Kreischer.
Yeah,
Kreischer.
exactly. But this guy was weird with it. I'm trying to like. It depends on like, your definition of weird because I've seen like a lot of crazy shit. Like
No,
that's
I
like
didn't say weird. That's crazy. Like, what's the craziest thing you've ever seen at a set? Like maybe somebody from the audience pick a fight with the talent, or
oh, I mean that's normal. That's a normal day. That's a normal day for a comedian. I have seen post show. Post shows are usually the best. I've seen post show. I was hosting at the DC Draft Theater one night, and there was this girl that was in the back of the room. She had laughed so hard, she ended up peeing her pants,
mm,
but she was also drunk too. So I
mm.
thought she might just pee because she was drunk, but she was having fun. But ended up like just passing out. But she peed her pants, and her boyfriend had to like carry her over his shoulder like a caveman, type. That was fun.
These are their stories.
I've seen, I've seen people try to fight other comedians and try to rush the stage. Um, for multiple different reasons. I've pretty much seen it all, but I think those two stick out to me the most right now.
Yeah, you know what? I've been fortunate. I've never been to a show where I seen. I mean, probably the craziest thing I ever saw at a set was Drew Lynch.
Hmm.
Um, but that's become his shtick now. Like
Yeah,
people, and I don't know how the whole thing started. Somebody heckled him. I would imagine the whole thing started with somebody heckled him, and I have to be completely honest with you. The two people that I have seen best and with comebacks, with clapbacks, and keeping the show moving, uh, are one is Andrew Schultz,
yep.
and the other one is like Andrew Schultz will come out and just do a whole show roast, do like a whole 30 minutes
Pretty
roasting
much.
somebody before he even gets into his routine.
Exactly.
Just pick somebody from the crowd at random and just go. But the other one is Drew Lynch, and apparently the video went viral, so that became a thing where people now go to his show. Specific, the first time I'd ever seen it, people now go to this kid's show and just shout stuff out in the audience, and he just
Yep.
I thought it was just, I didn't I thought it was a bit, you know what I mean? But it is a real
Yeah.
thing. People just go and
Yeah.
they shout out stuff, and he'll do 10 minutes on whatever it is that they shouted out, go back into his routine, do a callback on it right before he closes the show out.
Yep.
He is probably the
I gotta
and
do it.
I've been watching comedians for as long as I can remember. That in half a century, he is probably the best that I have seen at this is what we're eating now. Okay, power up, level up. I'm gonna joke on you for a minute, then I'm gonna come
Yep.
back. Oh, that guy's laughing. You're part of it now too. Then back to the routine. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Hate my wife. Hate my dog. Hey guys, before I get out of here, such and such such. And you two guys can go screw yourselves. Good night. Bye bye. Like he's the
Yeah.
best, absolute best. And then I wanted to circle back around to Dion and to
Oh
Romeo.
yeah.
Because Dion, I know you guys are still pretty close, and at least to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah.
Um,
I called him
and
yesterday for his birthday. His birthday was yesterday.
oh dang,
Um,
I need to call him too. See, you better than me.
he's not on
Uh,
Facebook anymore, so but yeah, he's
yeah, he
his
is.
birthday. No, his Facebook got taken from him.
Must have
We'll
been
talk
recent.
about it later. We'll talk about, yeah. He lost his Facebook during all the craziness of the election and
Oh, but
stuff.
he's back. Oh, I knew about that. He's back because he
Oh,
commented on something I posted the other day.
oh yeah,
Um,
okay.
yeah, but anyway, he kind of took you under his wing as like a mentor. Like and Romeo having the access and resources available to provide a venue like the Romeo Divine Show, both the TV and the
Mhm.
radio, by Fairfax Public Access. Like, what was some of the advice what is some of the advice that they have given you over the years? More so, I know, of course, more so Dion than Romeo, because Romeo's not in the area anymore. But what's some of the advice that they gave you as a young comic trying to get in the game? Like, and how has that helped you? Well, obviously it helped because 10 years. I know most folks do 2 open mics and bomb, and then they're like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna go back to my job at Kinko's. you know.
So I mean, with Dion, I feel like if I tell like the backstory of how I met him, it helps out a little bit more. So when I first met Dion, I was probably about 6 months into comedy, and the way that we met was he started doing a show in Woodbridge, and I went out to it after being told don't go because the person who was running Britney's at the time. And Dion had a prior beef from way before, so I was always told Dion was a bad person. Don't ever meet him. Blah blah blah. So I ended up it was like, you know what, something's telling me to go. I'm gonna go. Everybody keeps saying as a new comic you should try to perform wherever you can. And like I said, I was 20 back then, so there was only a few places I could go to perform at because everywhere you had to be 21 and up. So with Dion's venue, I was able to go in being 20. So I went, met Dion, and me and him just kind of, we hit it off right from then because he reminded me of himself so much. And a lot of people looking at us will think that we're father son. And we play off of it all the time. I consider Dion my father. I call him Pops all the time and everything. But for comedy, he did take me under his wing, and he always told me advice that was soundproof or sound to what I needed to hear at the moment. A lot of times back then I would get frustrated, just thinking that, I wasn't good, or, I would get frustrated because I would see someone else get a little bit further than me. But he always kept reminding me, be yourself, no matter what, be yourself, because that's what you're good at. You're good at being you. If you want to be, if you're bringing your nerdy side, be your nerdy side, but no matter what, be yourself. Don't try to be someone else, because a lot of people when I first started would tell me you should have an onstage persona and just make up this alter ego, which is great for some people. Don't get me wrong, it's great for some people, but I'm one of those people that I like to be real with things. Like I'm real with everything. I will half my stuff now that I talk about is stuff that's happened to me. I don't like. Yeah, I might twist some things there, but I can't do the whole fake alter ego, fake persona. I can't do that. It's just
so you can't do the K. What is it called? Kayfabe? Kayfabe?
I can't kayfabe. I like to be real. Like there's sometimes like if I'm at an open mic, I'll just shoot and just say whatever's on my mind and just like talk about how I really feel. But it ends up being funny because there's relatable stuff in it.
Right.
But some people, they have this alter ego that they got to uphold. I'm like, no, like I want the person who's on stage to be the same person who you're talking to after the show,
right.
Be the same person you catch at Walmart 2 days from now, that you catch, at IHOP, a week later. Like I want you to know that I'm legit. So that's one of the things that Dion taught me, was to be myself. Yeah. He definitely taught me a lot about stage presence, and just the philosophy of comedy, reading the crowd, make sure you always read the crowd, especially when the host is up, you want to survey and see what kind of crowd you're dealing with, because every show's different. Some shows you're going to have some people that, that are going to laugh at everything that's said. Some shows, you're going to have people that laugh at certain things. And that's the biggest thing, is to figure out what is making them tick and, pinpoint it and then cater to it. Because if you can win a crowd over, then they'll follow you throughout the whole show.
Yep.
So it's very important at the beginning of the show, and that's why I tell a lot of, comics now, when you first go on the stage, you need to, pretty much show your dominance that, hey, I'm on the mic right now. This is my time. You guys are here to listen, but you need to make them laugh at the same time also to keep their attention. So you need, I call it an icebreaker. I know a lot of people, use icebreakers for, presentation and stuff like that. But you need a good icebreaker that's gonna make the crowd laugh, get the crowd on your side, and then they'll follow you no matter which way you go in
Your
the show.
boy, I'm sorry, your boy at the Fairfax Access show, Tim, True
Tim
Love,
Miller.
whatever, the dude with the afro,
Oh,
the one he
yeah,
did
True Heart. Yeah,
the bit with the notes.
yeah.
Bruh, I didn't even know that was a bit. I thought that was real. I did not know that was a bit. And I'm telling him after the show, like, bruh, like, how you forgot, and then you pull the thing out and you turn the whole thing around, and he's just looking at me like, he's looking at y'all, like, in retrospect, he's looking at me like, yeah, and he's looking at y'all like, is this dude really that dumb? Like, I was, I was new to the game. I did not realize that was a bit. Like, Romeo had to tell me, like, yeah, that's a bit, bro. Calm down. So, but I've seen cases where you get a comic on, and to me they're funny. You know what I mean? But they have to hit that. It generally happens with an opener or a feature. Um, they have to hit that one joke that gets everybody in the room, and then from there you can see they go from, oh man, I'm about to bomb. You see like the light bulb goes on, and then they turn on the juice, and then who knows? For some people that might be their stick.
Yeah, some people are like that. I think nowadays there's a lot more comics that they feed off of that awkwardness
Hmm.
and not doing well. Like that's their stick.
Emo.
Which, if that's your stick, then hey, that's great. More power to you. But you can't have everyone like that.
Yeah, and then you would think with the whole alter ego thing that there's some folks that actually start believing that after a while. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that like that's who they are. Like they get on stage and they play an absolute jerk, but they're one of the coolest people in the world on stage, or vice versa. They play like the nice guy on stage. They play this sweet and innocent. Oh my God, blah blah blah. But they're actually a douche canoe in real life.
Mhm.
And then, uh, uh, nope. Let me flip it back to where I was. Where they're like, I'm that guy, and then they start believing it, and then after a while they become consumed with it
Exactly.
because now you spent so much time building this image that you have to maintain this image, and now
Exactly.
you can't shut it off ever. You can't ever just relax, and then it permeates into your personal life and
Yep.
business affairs, and you know and then that's when you hear the unfortunate stories about folks. So yeah,
Exactly.
definitely. And Dion, I would say this again, Dion is the guy. To me, Dion is like that guy that's that crazy uncle, but like the fun crazy, the one that
Yeah.
you could be in the back of the house at Thanksgiving at Big Mama's house, and you know when Uncle Dion has showed up because he does not come in the door quietly and sneak up on you. You hear him
Mm-mm.
coming from making his way across the room, and he
Exactly.
wherever he is, everybody's cracking up wherever he is. That's the one that Big Mama talking about. Dion, stop telling them babies that you're so crazy.
Yep.
You
Yep.
just, I I love the man to death. I love him to death. And I I I maybe this is where he wanted to be. Maybe he wanted to be bigger. I'm not dogging him at all.
Yeah.
But honestly, I thought you couldn't tell me when I met Dion that he wasn't going to at this point be as big or bigger than like Kat and Kevin, and or at least be right on par with like Kat and Kevin and Dave. Because I'm like, somebody's gonna get that guy on TV. As soon as he gets on TV, he's gonna blow up.
Yeah. I mean, I know, knowing him as well as I know him, that's not what he wanted because he had the contract um, with Sony and all that back in the day, and it just wasn't, just wasn't what he wanted. So he's happy, with everything that he's done. I mean, I know um, he tells me he has no regrets, which is one of the things I always wanted to make sure that I had with comedy was like I didn't have any regrets. Um, everything that I've done, I've did to the fullest and have fun. A lot of things I've done, I didn't think I would actually end up doing, but I did it anyway. And it's like it's just humbling. But yeah, Dion's he's one of my mentors in life and in comedy. And I'm just, if I would have done it, I would have never met him. And it's crazy, that you meet all these different people through comedy, and a lot of people I'm still friends with that started off with, like Dion, for example. Met him when I first did it. Brian Siegel, I met him and Dion at the same time. Me and Brian still do comedy in Fredericksburg. Each week we do an improv group, and we put on shows on Facebook Live every other Friday.
Is that the guy that I see where they did the illustrations of the two of y'all? No, I'm sorry. That's another one. I'm sorry. That's somebody else I'm thinking about. Go ahead.
But yeah, we still perform. To this day, we got like I said, our improv troupe, Born in Quarantine. We still do stuff together, and it's pretty much been 10 years. Romeo's helped me out a lot. With getting on different venues and just getting my face out there, and with video and stuff like that, and just get my voice out there. I owe him a lot for that. There's a lot of other comics who aren't mainstream yet that that are local. That is very rare nowadays for me to go to a show and see someone that was around 10 years ago. It's I could probably count on like two hands, but there's still a few guys that are still here, and it's crazy because we always joke about it, like, hey, remember 10 years ago when we was doing this room and blah 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 blah, and it's like, yeah, I remember that. It's like, look at us now, still not famous, but we're still we're still loving what we're doing. We're still having fun and still doing this with a smile on our face. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. If you are you happy with are you happy with what you do, and are you happy with your body of work? Because everything else, there's been plenty of people that made it to the big time, and they go back and they go, man, I wish that I hadn't done X, Y, Z at this point. So, and I had to be honest, man, I'm proud of you, bro, because I can honestly say I knew you. I saw, like, you're the first comic that I have knowledge of, that I have witnessed on a personal level when I was there, from damn near the time when you were getting started, up to now. So something pop off, something pop off, you'll be a name drop, I'll be like,
yeah,
be like, B. I remember B. When B was like $1.10 soaking wet. We used to tease that boy about eating, because I will name. I'll tell you. I'll name drop in a minute, because
I do too.
Watch this. Because watch this. I'm telling you who I went to school with. Red Grant. I was pledging my fraternity the same time he was pledging his on the campus of Savannah State University. I'll tell you who else I went to school with, who was in school at the same time. You might see him on Fox News or Fox Sports Undisputed, sitting across the table from Skip Bayless.
Don't say shit.
Stop it, Skip Bayless.
Get out of here.
Skip, let me tell you something. I played ball a long time, went to school, Savannah State University. And a lot of people graduated summa cum laude, magna cum laude. I graduated, thank you, laude. That's how it went, but that's okay. I wound up not getting no L's on my plate. That's right. The poor boy from Wrightsville, Georgia, done good, Skip. Man, Shannon, look, all of that y'all see on TV, that is nothing new. He taught all that trash in the student union when he was whooping everybody on the pool table. He would be on the sideline talking trash. On the sideline talking trash to the other players from his sideline. Shannon would get a pass and catch somebody and put a shoulder on him and knock him down, and stand and look up, before they started flagging people, before stand over and look at them and walk back off. And damn to say something, Skip. I put these bowls on you, boy. This thing on you afterwards. Me and the boys go to the club, get some Black and Miles and some hen dog.
Yo, that's wild.
Yeah. And I'm like, we knew he was going to be in the league. We knew he was going to be something special. But you never know how. I didn't know it was going to be this deep. Like that's 30 some odd years ago. You think about it. I was in school. That was like 91, 90, 91, 92.
Shit, I was just born 91.
Right, I name drop on you in a minute. So blow it up. So go ahead. Come on here, get big, so I can drop that.
Fine. Well, as soon as this pandemic ends, that's the plan.
Look, I'm gonna need to get a disclaimer from you. with your permission, I don't care who your management company is at that point, to drop this interview to just casually. I'm just gonna drop this right here on Facebook, social media. After you have your HBO special and you start touring, be like, I interviewed it first. Beat this.
Got him. Gotcha. Got this.
Got him.
2021.
Yeah.
You know I got you.
You know, I'm gonna hit you, be like, bro, need some tickets. Come to Oklahoma City. Come to Oklahoma City. We gotta do it right.
Obviously, I mean, you would be the first person I would hit up. Like, hey, I'm going to Oklahoma City. Let me crash at your house.
Right, if you big time, and you be like, hey, why don't y'all come crash at the suite where I'm staying at the Ritz, at the what is it? What is it? King Joffrey Joffer said, you will confine yourself to a royal suite at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel.
Shoot, that's money. I'm trying to save my money. I'm saying, stay at your place. Stay in your guest room. I'm trying to save that money.
Look, you come stay at my house, you might not be able to do a show because you know I'm gonna throw something on the smoker.
Shoot.
Throw something on the smoker, me and you make a run down to the liquor store. I don't drink no more, but you know, you have a little something.
Oh,
have a look. I ain't gonna tell nobody because I'd be like, I mess around and tell one person, you know, Brandon Morris at the crib.
The whole town be out there.
Look, I look outside, be like, you hear helicopters?
Right? We just want to get a picture. Can we get an interview?
What's going on with you and Kim Kardashian?
Right.
Brother, if you get famous, please do not get with Kim Kardashian. She is a career killer.
No. That whole family is. So let's be honest.
No, I'm just saying. Like, look, everybody thought Kanye was crazy, but Kanye held on all this time. Well, he is, but we prayed. We started praying. I started praying for Kanye then, because everybody that got with the Kardashians that either fell off or lost their mind or made some major lifestyle change in their life. And now I'm not dogging. Excuse me, I'm not dogging Caitlyn or whatever. But everybody that has got with the Kardashians, Lamar Odom, they messed around and damn near coked himself to death.
Yeah, you don't walk out the same.
Reggie Bush, Ray J was on his way to fame and fortune. He was just starting to take off. He got with Kim Kardashian. He ain't never had another hit. The matter of fact, the next time he was relevant after Sexy Canine, after messing, he had Sexy Canine. Then he got with Kim. The next time he was relevant after that was he had to write a song called "I Hit It First."
Yeah, I hit it first. Yep.
Then Reggie Bush signed that multi-million-dollar first round draft pick money and played the Eagles and got knocked the hell out and ain't been right since then.
Yeah, he hasn't been right since.
You know Reggie Bush married a woman that looked just like Kim Kardashian? Look it up. I'm not making it up.
I believe it because some dudes are like
she doesn't look just like her, but she very strongly resembles. I mean,
dudes like that though. They'll break up with someone and find someone that looks exactly like their ex and be with them.
But Kanye was holding on. Kanye went all the way in, got married, had kids, whole nine. And slowly his mind started to unravel, and now Kanye is gonna unfortunately wind up on the same heap with everybody else. See, Chris Humphries signed a multi-million-dollar deal, messed around and hooked up with, which one was it he got with? I forget. He got he signed a multi-million-dollar deal, got married, stayed married for 3 days, never was the same again.
Yeah, that was it.
Don't please do your boy a favor.
Nah,
avoid the Kardashians. Nice to look at, dangerous to touch. It's like a flower with poison thorns. You can take pictures all day, just don't touch it.
Just don't touch it. No, don't touch it, buddy. No, I would definitely stay away from them. Not enough money in the world. I mean, I know some of them got a little bit, you know, like Kylie, but I can't. I'm good. I will stay away from them.
Well, look here, my friend. We have gone almost an hour and a half.
Okay, let's go. Marathon,
man. We got, and look, like it was nothing, like butter. But listen, you got any projects in the? I mean, I know Corona kind of has a. I gotta play it one more time. I'm sorry.
La la la. Guess what, bitch? La la la. Coronavirus.
That's the short version. Coronavirus is kind of put the kibosh on a lot of stuff. But you got any projects in the pipeline that'll be popping up after everything's all said and done?
So I'm still out here in these streets because the grind doesn't stop. You can catch me every Wednesday.
Come on, look, you are not hanging out with T.I. expeditiously. Don't come at me like,
whoa!
nah,
I'm
man.
not.
You talk about I'm still out here on these
Look,
streets like you gag bang like you. That's what I say. We are not you not running with T.I. expeditiously. Just telling people what you doing, man.
I'm just saying.
I'm giving you a hard time, man.
The
Go ahead.
breakdown.
I gotta play some chops at least once.
So every Wednesday, I do a podcast also. The spinoff is produced by Broken My Comedy. So if you type in Broken My Comedy, you'll see the logo. Follow the page. Every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's also on Apple Music. Pretty much anywhere you can get a podcast that listen to podcasts is on there. Thursday nights, I run a open mic. So I still do open mics, weekly open mic comedy night at Casey's Music Alley in Fredericksburg, Virginia. If you're in the VA area or have ever been to Fredericksburg, you know of Carl's Ice Cream. It's like 30 seconds away from there. We start off at 8 o'clock there and pretty much rock out there. Also, you can catch me every other Friday on Born in Quarantine Improv. We have a Facebook page. We do live shows on there. We also do shows, actually in a live location where people can come and watch. It's pretty much like Whose Line Is It Anyway? We do improv shows, mix it with stand-up sometimes. It's a lot of fun. You can, come and watch it yourself. You can, give us suggestions, all that fun stuff. That's usually 8 o'clock, either 8 or 9, depending on if we're live at an actual location or if we're in the studio. But follow Born Quarantine on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And then same with Broken My Comedy, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And then, or if you just follow me, you can find everything that way. And that's it for me.
And you still on that hustle. I don't know if a lot of people in the entertainment business putting in that much work except for musicians in the studio. My man, I appreciate you, bro. I do. I really appreciate you coming on the show and hanging with us today.
Thank you.
Brandon Moore, ladies and gentlemen. You know him, you love him. You heard what he said. Broken Mic Comedy, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find it on Facebook and iTunes. Casey's Music Alley Open Mic Comedy on Thursdays at 8 in Fredericksburg. And the Born in Quarantine Improv on Facebook Live every other Friday at 8 p.m. You can also find them at Twitter and IG at We Want More Now, and Facebook, We Want More Now. I'm telling you, if it's anybody that's going to break into business from that area, and the last person I think to do it is Young Fly from DC?
He is.
DC Young Fly and Wanda Sykes. So
yeah, Wanda, definitely.
That's good company to be in terms of big names. We can drop some names, but I got to play this before we get out of here. So let me drop this clip on them real quick. This is from the Karaoke Comedy Posse. Mr. Figure's 4,000 karaoke celebration and birthday bash, because it was right around the same time as my birthday. This was 2012, so this is from 9 years ago. Ooh. And this is a bit you had about Krispy Kreme donuts. It was funny given the fact that we were talking about the fact that you needed to eat at that point. So here's that right here, ladies and gentlemen. Take a listen.
Man, I went to Krispy Kreme once, and I want a dozen glazed donuts, because you guys know Krispy Kreme donuts are like the best thing on earth to eat. Okay, I have a lunch break. This is great. I go to the drive-thru window. I'm like, hey, I get a dozen glazed donuts. So it's like my happy board. Now, I'm not like black people voice like, hey, you get a dozen glazed. I'm using my happy white people voice, I'm happy to be here. So I'm like, hey, I got a dozen glazed donuts. And the intercom system's like, why do you get glazed donuts right now? And if you want glazed donuts, you have to wait 30 minutes. How the fuck do I glazed donuts at Krispy Kreme? You guys have a fucking factory inside the store. That's like me going to Starbucks. Hey, can I get a regular cup of coffee? And it's like, oh, we're out of coffee right now, sir. That shouldn't happen. Stuff like that should not happen. Hey, I'm going crazy at this point because I need to eat right now. Because if I miss another meal, I might disappear, okay? I might turn out the rest.
Brandon Moore again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Nephew, I appreciate you, man. You come a long way in the last decade. I
I
mean, then again, so have we all. So we're gonna get out of here. B, I need you to hang tight after we sign off. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you for catching this week's episode of Indian Unsigned. Make sure to catch us next week when our guest will be also out of Northern Virginia, an up-and-coming singer from, I forget where she's from. We'll find out before we go on next week because that's some information I need to know. But her name is Samantha Haas. I call her Polly Pockets. We'll get into that whole story when we see her next week. We appreciate you. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. Be safe. I'm Mr. Fingers, the Mad Karaoke DJ. And me and B, OUT out. Take care.